Hello, my fellow self-improvers. Dim here, and I hope that this will be the last of my series of reflections of 2022. So, in previous, we discussed dating, we discussed overall very important life events, mental stuff, mindset stuff, and all of that. And I hope we will close it today with something I achieved regarding my body, health, and some random experiences and different events. So let's get to it. Um, let's get right back into it. So the achievement number 54. It's all about it's all regarding gym. So about gym. This was the first year I consistently started going to the gym. Like I fucked around there for a couple of years before. I think I firstly went there 2 years ago. But I never was consistent before this year. And since the start of this year, I firstly was going 3 times a week, and then at about half of the year, I switched to the another routine that was 5 days a week. So even when I was in Armenia, even when I was traveling between different hotels, living in different places, I still made an effort to go to the gym at some point. And it was really important for me as a support also because it was the constant. Like the second day I arrived in Yerevan, I found myself a great gym there. So it was my supporting network, my failsafe, another one that just recovered me in the bad moments, and just good experience overall. I made some progress there. Actually, I had a goal about. I won't go too much into details there. Uh, I had a goal about Romanian deadlifts, and I hit it at half of the year. And then I set myself another 3 goals, and I didn't achieve them because they were too fucking ambitious. But I made good progress overall. Yeah, I want to mention one thing. Like at the last day of the last year, I just decided to fuck around a bit. Like every other time I went to the gym, is what it was kind of serious. Even if I didn't want to go there, I went there and it was like a sometimes it was like a meditative experience. Sometimes I listened to fun podcasts and kind of laughed my way through the gym, but I always took the exercises themselves seriously. And the last day of the year, I couldn't follow the routine because the gyms were closing, and I decided if I have only one day out of my whole routine, I can just fuck around and try some stuff. And I ended up doing 1 rep max. And that's where you just do the exercise for only one repetition for the maximum amount of weight possible. And so I hit like 120 kilos deadlift. I tried to go for 130 because 120 seemed too light when I did it, and I completely failed and couldn't lift it from the ground, so that was hilarious. And then I went on to do rack pulls. It's the exercise that make no, like, it doesn't give you anything. I think it's just for show off, like you're just lifting the bar with a high amount of weight from the bar, like for that amount of space. So you basically holding it in your arms and then putting it back. But I did 160 kilos, and I wanted to say that it was good to just feel that weight in my arms for the first time in my life. So it was awesome actually. Like, it doesn't add much, but it is a fun thing to do, and it looks good in photos, I believe. Why people do that? So, okay, the gym is done. The next one tied to that is diet. So I could say a lot about that. It was also my first year of consistently focusing on diet. Um, yeah, one of the goals was for the year was to lose a lot of body fat to about 10%, and then bulk, eat a lot and consistently. I mean, I'm forgetting how to say that. Um, Not overeating, but like measurably, consistently eating a little bit more to gain controllably gain weight, so gain muscle more. So I did that great. I had a period of sleep when I slipped away when I was in Armenia, because I could only eat at restaurants and you cannot actually follow proper diet there. But with all of the experiences of this year, like I went to 10% body fat, even to 9% twice this year, and then now I'm at 67 kilos. So I lost weight to 60 kilos, and now I'm at 67 with 13% body fat. So it was an awesome experience in controlling my weight. So before this year, I couldn't really understand how the diet was working, what I need to focus, how do I need to everything. I just didn't know anything about that, and now I consider that like I mastered that shit like completely. I know how I need to structure everything. I know how to what to focus on. How much progress do I need to make like each week, how to weigh myself, how to, like, I had a lot of spreadsheets that just track all of this stuff, and I just learned so much. It's probably one of the most important, uh, most broad topics that I learned in this year about diet, I think. And I tried a lot of stuff. Like I was consistent every day when I was be able to be consistent. So not eating at restaurants for these 2 months in Armenia. Um, so all the other time I was consistent and I was tracking them. And I learned how to track properly. I used two different apps for that. I started from MyFitnessPal and I ended up using Chronometer because I like it more. And I learned to, yeah, how to steer towards my goals, towards gaining weight, towards losing weight. Schedule for my eating. I started from eating like 5 times a day, and like always constantly snacking because like I couldn't keep myself up from that. So I kind of scheduled that. Now I'm more into eating 2 or 3 times a day maximum, and yeah, I learned how to manage that, how to adjust to that. Just overall resilience to food control in me versus like now I'm just know a lot about my nutrition, how my body wants to eat, to just not eat if I don't need to, and eat whenever I need to. So it's like completely under my control now. I tried keto diet. I actually liked it. I tried it for a month. I didn't say I properly adapted because that's too less of a time to adapt. But I liked it, and it has its good moments. It has its enjoyment. I just decided to go full on a normal diet so it could complement my gym results. Um, yeah, yeah, and just overall learning about like how a lot of people think that when you're on a strict diet, like if you even sleep up for 1 day or 2 days, or even like go to a restaurant that you cannot track something properly, it's all ruined. I failed at my diet. Or if you eat a lot of stuff and next day you go on scales and it's like plus 2 3 kilos there, and it's like, oh, I ruined it, I gained a lot of weight. It doesn't work like that. So just keeping it up for a year taught me a lot of stuff, that it it's kind of hard to ruin your diet. If you do it even for a week, it's not ruined then. I had a periods when I went to Sweden, that I will talk about after, and I was eating like twice my amount of each day, and for on time, like I was physically, it was physically hard for me to walk. But in all of that, like I gained like about 1 kilo. But why does it matter? Like it doesn't ruin your diet. You just continue, and like even something that huge you can fix like in a couple of weeks afterwards. So it it's not a problem anymore. So I don't have any notions about diet being destructive anymore. I had them previously, and now I just know that it's not that serious. Like it's easy to follow it up, and it became part of my lifestyle now. So point 56, kind of combining it all together, I built a better body.
Your device doesn't support that.
What? Okay, my TV decided to scare me a bit. So I built a better body, more muscles, and I'm really happy to see it in the mirror. So yeah, that was the consequence of following it up for a year. I'm really happy to see myself now, even now when I'm gaining weight and I'm gaining body fat. So at 30%, at 13%, it's not as defined as it was before, but I still like it. So it was a huge thing for me, all of these body goals. Okay, next topic is about health. So one of the problem I wanted to address this year was how I had a problems with like with stomach being uneasy all the time. I forgot the medical term for it, but yeah. Um, and yeah, I went on a couple of to a couple of doctors. They may run some tests, and it turned out I didn't have a lot of problem. It probably because of something in my diet, but I just didn't want to address it anymore. So I only wanted to know if that is some problem that uh, make can be made worse in the future. So maybe it's like some illness or something, and I needed to address that. It turned out to be just maybe me not treating some of the products good, and yeah, and it just not turned out not something I need to be worried about. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's okay. So I don't want to spend time for that. Next one, skincare. I wanted to focus on that too, and yeah, I still have some problems here, but it was much worse at the start of this year, and previously it was kind of a continuing goal. So I went on a lot of procedures, I made a lot of painful stuff, spent a lot of money and time on that, and it got better. Not perfect, but I was handling this problem for 3 years, and at the end of the last year and at the start of this year, I made the best amount of progress here. So I'm happy with that. Um, and point 59, one of the biggest ones. It's all about sleep. So I started using polyphasic schedule. I will talk more about that at some point. I have an article on that, and I really want to explain that more in some. I probably do that in the videos because I don't need to learn from that. I can just say about it. So yeah, probably will do some videos about polyphasic sleeping in the future. But it was so huge thing for me. It's one of my key structure points that just support everything in my life. And I consider proper sleep is important, but it's not about even amount of sleep. It's about consistency and how you train yourself to receive that sleep. So you can be really fucking efficient with just 5 hours of sleep, even less probably, but like 5, it's normal amount, and be like the day can be awesome for you. Like if you just being consistent and follow a couple of rules there, so you can definitely train yourself for that. Overall rule of 8 hours sleep is for the most of the populations because it's most easiest to follow and understand. These polyphasic schedules, basically polyphasic schedules is splitting your sleep into smaller chunks, and it allows you to make these chunks more efficient. So that reduces amount of sleep that you need actually. So for the general population with only one period of time at night, 8 hours is probably the best because it's less complicated, but there are other solutions if you want to find them, so you can research that, or I will tell about that later. So I got good experience with it. I adapted to one of the schedules. I'm on one of them now. Yeah, taking naps throughout the day, waking up at 3:30 in the morning, and it's overall just okay. It's basically a foundation of my life now. And the achievement of this year is just to know a lot, to learn a lot about that. So I tried 3 different schedules this year. It was cool. It was cool. And just fun thing to do, actually. So we're moving on to style category. It's a 6 point number 60. I made a full style overhaul. So at the start of this year, I had a pretty bad style. Now it's, I wouldn't say it's like perfect. I don't know a lot about that, so I followed um, Radical Improvements. It's an awesome guy. He has a channel on YouTube called Radical Improvements. And just on the forums, on Kill Your Inner Loser forums, he was giving advice there. And I followed one of the simplest beginner advice and overhauled my style. So started wearing more proper t-shirts, not like graphic ones or something non-serious. It's more about me taking my appearance seriously and just putting away the notion that I take myself seriously. And it starts from style. That's how people see you at the for the first time or repeatedly. It always starts with style. If you don't care about your style, people treat you less proper, I would say. And I didn't notice specifically how it affected me. Like I didn't measure that, but it definitely helped my confidence to wear better clothes because I like them more. And people just overall treat me good. So like, there are some moments, but it probably just because of confidence and like internal confidence when you know that you're wearing something that is awesome, but it's just not because you're lazy and you didn't want to take effort and put in effort and do something. You, it just makes everything better, I believe. Uh, yeah, so I found kind of a haircut style that I like. I started using necklaces. I found myself rings that I really like, and they mean a lot to me. Uh, Random necklaces. That's not one of the my most loved ones necklaces, but it's just for fun. Yeah, just sometimes it can be good to have a bit of fun with it if you still put in effort. Yeah, good improvements there. I probably will focus on some of that in the future as well to just improve, but I feel I'm at pretty good level now. Next one is I overhauled my Tinder profile, and yeah, I went to Montenegro for 2 days specifically for the purpose of taking up photos for my Tinder account, for like all the online dating accounts, but only Tinder works actually where I'm at right now. So I will talk about Tinder. Yeah, so it was huge. Like I changed a lot of pictures there. I edited them a bit to have a better lighting there. So what I learned from 365 project with Photoshop, it helped me here too to just adjust to make them a little bit better. So I didn't change myself. I just made something like light more defined so it would look better. I overhauled that. I changed some pictures. I made some new pictures even while moving to another country. So it was just for taking photos on the beach of the sea, and it was actually the best photo I ever taken. So there was a good progress there. I also changed my approach. I changed my profile, so it actually gives me good results now. So I addressed that in dating part, but this one is about like overhauling style that I used for the Tinder. And the last thing is while I was in Armenia, actually, I did Zoom teeth whitening. So that is just a procedure that makes your teeth whiter. Um, it's a bit painful and it's a bit discomforting in a couple of days after that because they take the uh, like they do a lot of stuff there and it's kind of sensitive. The teeth are kind of sensitive afterwards. So and it's kind of expensive procedure, but it was worth it. Mm, just looking in a mirror and having like I don't have it like that perfectly because it kind of diminishes over time, but it was a huge change for me at that moment. Just looking into the mirror and seeing you better, seeing your teeth whiter, it's a strange feeling. Like it changes a lot. It's like a style overhaul. And you don't see that often, but it stays with you. So I am really glad I did that. I was putting it off for a long time, and I finally found a place where they did that. So I'm happy with it. And our last category is hobbies or experiences, and it's just the random stuff that I went through that I want to give myself credit for. So we're starting from point 63. I went to some massages. I finally allowed myself to go to I tried some massages before. I even studied. I even completed a course to become to do my own massages, but I didn't like them on myself. I just didn't see the point. It was kind of boring for me, but maybe it's because of the not allowing myself to relax and fully enjoy myself, enjoy someone giving me something good. So first massages of the year, I just went because I felt my body just cramped after gym, and I learned. I just knew that I needed a massage there, and I went, and it was pretty good. It gave me even a boost to my weights and all. It made everything easier, but I didn't like it. And I went on a massage probably 4 times this year. The rest three is in Serbia here, and I started going there uh, once every two, like I went with a period of 2 weeks, I guess. Like I didn't go there for a couple of months already, but I was going there, and I started from my body feeling like it needs a massage, but I actually started liking them there. I guess I relaxed a bit there, and I started enjoying massages again. So I'm actually looking forward to the next time I will go there. It's kind of expensive, but it's kind of a meditative experience for me, and I actually started liking it. And that is cool. That is very cool. Yeah, probably there was some adversity to relaxing before someone else, when someone else is present, and I got better at it. Next point, also huge, is related to cooking stuff and just overall food stuff. So I learned how to cook really good this year, and I would say it even became one of my main hobbies. I will definitely, like, I became obsessed with cooking at some point, because like you cannot count on prepared foods. They usually put on insane amounts of oil or something, or sugar or something else that is just not macro friendly. So I started from cooking myself macro friendly meals, and I started enjoying the cooking process. So I got more and more into that. I started finding substitutions for products, and it actually became one of my greatest hobbies ever. I still enjoy cooking a lot. Now I switched more to a meal preps to save myself time, uh, for just a little bit of time. For maybe a half a year or something, I will do meal preps mostly. But I still enjoy cooking something and even enjoy cooking them. So yeah, that will definitely be one of my things I will pay attention to in the future. Actually, the first my business idea that I wanted to start, it was like a food blog. I even started taking photos of the food I created, with substitutions and all, but it turned out the coaching stuff was more interesting to me. But I will still focus on food sometime in the future. Other thing that came from actually eating, from focusing on food more, it's like yeah, I started using my meals as a meditation. I learned how to do that, to focus on the process of consuming food, and it, like I talked before in my morning meditations point, it just became an easy way into my mind, into focusing on the present, and I learned how to do that properly. it linked me to my previous memories, so I could. It gave me a lot of epiphanies. It gave me a lot of gratitude about the things I went through. It just overall boosted my life experience, being able to enjoy food in the moment. Yeah, so it's just a pretty good relationship with food overall with me now. Point 65. I learned many things about photography and editing and got a lot of first-hand experience. So I talked a lot about that in 365 project. So I did photo every day and edited that in Photoshop in some way or another. So it would be like surreal. I have an article of what I learned from my 365 project. So you can read that if you want. But from doing all of that, I just got a lot of photography experience. And I had some moments when I took portrait photos of people that I was hanging out. The girls I went on dates with, I went with some friends on just taking photos for Tinder of each other, and it turned out to be awesome. So I just learned, I just enjoyed the experience of photography, and it became one of my maybe lesser passions now. Now that's project ended, I didn't go out to take a lot of photos anymore. I don't need to use them as much, but it still it gave me a new view at the world. I would say so. Even if I go in somewhere, I can just stop and notice how good it looks and want to take a picture, even with my phone. But I'm sure I will take my camera with me and go somewhere and take just some pictures because I just want it. I just like and enjoy doing that. I learned a lot about how to properly stage the photo, about lighting there. So I'm not perfect at it, uh, but I learned a couple of things, and I learned a lot about posing on photos. So I was my main model for 365 project. I took a lot of photos of myself, so I kind of had to learn how to pose on photos properly, and it helped me a lot afterwards. Yeah, and to process photos with Photoshop, like I talked before, to just make them shine a little bit more, to emphasize some of the points on this photo, and just to make them a little bit better while the photo remains as it is. It just becomes enhanced. It I learned how to do that, and I'm really happy. It is a skill that will help me a lot in life. Next one, 66. Great number for this point. I made great travel experiences. So I traveled, if we don't count Armenia as travel because it was kind of forced, and Serbia, I live here now. I traveled to two more countries this year. First one was Montenegro when I went to take the photos, and I spent the left over time there to just explore it a bit. So I was in Budva and it kind of disappointed me, but it was still cool. I had some restaurant experiences. I just went and explored some of the parts there, and it had a lot of sea. Um, Not a lot of, but a couple of, like I tried supboarding there. I went on um, sea station jump park, so it was kind of cool. I don't know how to describe it properly, but it was just floating platforms in the water, and you could jump on them, and you can like it was fun. It was a fun thing to do. Um, yeah, I tried sunbathing for a couple of hours. Not really my thing, but it was kind of relaxing experience. parasailing too, when they attach you to the boat and with parachute put you uh, into the air, and it was quite high, and it was awesome experience actually. It looks from the ground more scary than it actually is. On top, it's just awesome. But I'm glad I did that. And the second trip was Sweden, and that was mind blowing for me in on so many levels. I was there for a week. I worked at the same time I traveled, so had to combine that. I had a lot of experiences of being in cafes, working, enjoying their coffees, their food, and just working on my stuff. And I love Scandinavian cafes. So the first country I visited was Finland. I still love it completely. And the Sweden was really similar vibe to it, just a little bit more actionable, a little bit more active, I would say. I visited three cities there. I just had a blast with experiences. I had a lot of photos, a lot of memories from there. I was stuffing myself with food because I wanted to feel everything that it has to offer. It was painful for me to walk, but it was worth it completely. Uh, yeah, I'm just glad I did that. And on top, it was my first time living in a hostel. I met a lot of people there. I just found how good it can be to live in a hostel. And that's some of my life goals, like gym, like diet, or even other stuff I was focusing on. Kind of I may be more flexible with it if there is something more bigger on the horizon. So this trip gave me so much that it was worth it to sacrifice a bit of my other routines, and it was awesome. It was awesome trip. It gave me a lot of life experiences. Looking forward to more travel in the future. It's one of the things I really like. So, three last points. Point 67. I tried geocaching and had a lot of fun from it. Uh, it was a great supportive hobby for me, so I started it while I was in Armenia, and I kind of had nothing to do from time to time, and I started going searching for geocaches because I just wanted to get out of the city. And it was kind of fun. I don't follow through with it a lot, but I tried it, and it was really fun thing. I see myself doing something like that in the future as well. It really challenges you to go out in the wild and find something. It gives you a purpose to go into the nature or to some corners of the city. There's a lot of stuff it can be a fun idea for dates. It's just a fun thing to do overall. Just the concept of something hidden in a plain sight and other people just don't know that it's there. It's amazing. um, Next point 68 tied so much into the geocaching. I went on 2 day long hikes by myself and had an existential experience from it. When I was in Dilijan, it was a small town in Armenia, surrounded by mountains. It was kind of boring. There was nothing to do there, and I decided to go on to one of the geocaches that was there. And I decided not to go through the roads, through the highway. I decided to cut in the middle through through the field. Like on the map, I saw a trail there, and I wanted to follow. It turned out that was a trail into the mountain, so I hiked the mountain just without knowing it. It was existential, really experience for me, because at the mid when I was half of the way through there, almost climbed a mountain, I just looked back and I was so the first hike took me like 7 hours. It was 17 kilometers through the mountain. Um, and halfway there, I just realized how far away I am from society, that no one can help me if something happens. I can only rely to myself. I carried a stick with me that was my friend for all this time, for all this hike. And I just realized that I it does I just it there isn't a purpose to return. I might as well just continue. Nothing nothing really changes. Like I cannot give up anymore. Like I may as well go through with it. So I climbed a mountain. Like the mountain itself was 2,200 meters. Like of course I didn't climb that amount. I don't remember how much height I climbed, but it was like moderate amount. But it felt awesome. I have a lot of great photos from there, just conquering my first mountain, even if it wasn't that big. Felt amazing. I could see the city in far away from that mountain. It was awesome. Uh, and a couple of days later, I just was bored in the same city and I decided, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go on the next hike on to another geocache through the forest this time. It was kind of mountainous forest, and I just I just spontaneously went there, and it was kind of the same amount of terrain. I think it was even less, like maybe 15 kilometers or something. I don't remember already. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool again. I was by myself there. Okay, at this trail, I think I met people in the middle. I saw people from far away while I was in the forest, but all the time I was just walking by myself usually. Um, yeah, it was awesome. And just going back to the geocaching experience, it was just something that supported me, gave me some additional purpose while I was kinda depressed at that moment in these cities. I at least had something to switch my attention to. So it was kind of supportive, awesome hobby there that I took up. And the last point, the point 69. Nice point. I organized my birthday exactly how I wanted it. So that was something I always wanted to do. So I was here in Serbia. I already had some friends that I could celebrate with, but I always wanted to that my birthday will be only about myself. So there would be no external celebrations, no invitations, no gifts, no all of this bullshit. It's all about me and my journey. So I did exactly that. I cooked myself a cake as a tribute to everything I achieved. It was kind of cool. It combined every like substitution I learned through this year. I wouldn't say it was really tasty, but it was eatable and it was cool just as a memento. I went through to have experiences I wanted to cafes I liked. It was kind of a memory trail for me through the Belgrade for everything I achieved here. It was just an awesome experience that a whole day I just devoted to myself. It was so cool. It was the best birthday of my entire life, and the next ones I want to do some way similar. Maybe there would be some people that made a great impact on my life, but probably it will still be always needs to be devoted to me, to my progress. It gives me a lot of gratitude for everything I went through, because it was my first year of self-improvement, of taking myself seriously, and everything changed after my last birthday. So it was literally the first year of myself taking myself seriously. So I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I devoted a lot of time to myself. Yeah, that's it. These are my 69 points of what I achieved this year. I would actually make another point. It's already next year, so it probably doesn't count as a 70th. But just taking a look back and recognizing everything that I achieved this year, I needed that. It is an awesome experience to just go through all the important events of this year. I recommend everyone do that. Maybe not as thoroughly as I. You can do that if you want to. You can do different. So just make yourself take credit for everything you went through the year, even if you didn't specifically went through self-improvement, didn't made a lot of progress as you think. You can still find something you can be grateful for this year, for any year, even if it's like the worst year ever. At least you're at the end of it, standing there, and you can still learn something from it. So it makes everything in life better, I would say. Makes you appreciate your life more, and when you see how much progress you made in the previous year, it wants you to top it up in the next one. It's hard it's hard to think that it will be possible, but I know it will. It's just awesome experience too. I recommend everyone do the yearly reviews at least. Come up with some points that you're grateful for. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I gave my recommendations, and yeah, for everyone watching, thanks for watching this series. Either this video or if you watched all of them, fucking beautiful. I'm grateful for you if you did that. It would really mean much to me. And I hope you learned something from it. Maybe it's just how to take credit for something you made this year. Maybe you get some ideas from what I did. I hope it was useful, or at least entertaining in some way, just to listen it as a podcast or something. Yeah, and I hope you have a great year. Let's all have just a kick-ass 2023. It's gonna be awesome. No matter what happens in a year, we can make it awesome. I know we can. See you in the next videos and in the next year reviews if you stick to me. Bye.